From the dawn of civilization, history has been forged in the crucible of conflict, shaped not by the masses, but by the will of a select few. These are the commanders, the strategists, the leaders whose genius, ambition, and audacity redrew the maps of the world. They were masters of the battlefield, architects of empires, and titans of their age. Their names echo through the corridors of time. Alexander, who wept for there were no more worlds to conquer. Caesar, whose legions carved an empire from Gaul to Egypt. Genghis Khan, whose horsemen thundered across continents, uniting the largest contiguous land empire in history. But what truly separated these legends from ordinary men? Was it sheer tactical brilliance, unwavering charisma, or a ruthless will to power? How did Hannibal, with his elephants and ragtag army, bring the mighty Roman Republic to its knees? What strategies allowed Napoleon, a minor Corsican noble, to crown himself emperor and dominate Europe? What were the pivotal decisions, the gambles, the strokes of genius that turned the tide of battle and altered the course of human destiny? Welcome to the Commander's Archive. Here, we don't just recount tales of conquest, we dissect them. We march into the minds of the greatest military leaders ever to live, analyzing their strategies, comparing their legacies, and uncovering the secrets behind their most decisive victories and catastrophic defeats. We will stand with Wellington at Waterloo, sail with Nelson at Trafalgar, and ride with Saladin into Jerusalem. Join us as we unlock the war chests of the past, explore the art of command, and understand the figures who commanded armies, conquered kingdoms, and built legacies that have endured for centuries. This is the ultimate chronicle of military leadership, the stories of triumph and tragedy, of strategy and sacrifice. This is the Commander's Archive. Subscribe now and let the campaigns begin. Have you ever wondered what it takes to build something that lasts 1,000 years? Not just a building, but an empire, a civilization that would define the Western world. This is the story of Rome, a saga written in the blood of legions, stretching from a mythical wolf-raised founder to an emperor who would change the course of history forever. This is the story of how a small city-state on the Tiber River crushed over 50 empires to forge a domain that stretched from the misty shores of Britain to the sun-scorched sands of Mesopotamia. Our journey begins not in a grand palace, but with a legend whispered through the ages. The story of Romulus and Remus, twin brothers suckled by a she-wolf, destined for greatness. In 753 BC, Romulus, after a fatal quarrel with his brother, drew a line in the dirt and declared it Rome. From this humble, myth-shrouded beginning, a kingdom was born. The early kings of Rome laid the groundwork, but it was the spirit of its people that truly set it apart. They were farmers, soldiers, and engineers, driven by a fierce sense of duty and a hunger for glory. But monarchy wouldn't last. In 509 BC, the Romans, tired of tyrannical rule, expelled their last king and declared a new form of government, the Republic. Res publica, the public thing. This was a revolutionary idea. Power was now shared, vested in the Senate and the people of Rome. This new system unleashed an energy that would propel Rome onto the world stage. For nearly 500 years, the Republic was a relentless engine of expansion. The disciplined Roman legions, with their iconic square shields and short swords, were the most formidable fighting force the world had ever seen. One by one, rivals fell. They conquered the Italian peninsula, subduing their Etruscan and Samnite neighbors. Then came their greatest challenge, Carthage. The Punic Wars were a series of titanic struggles for control of the Mediterranean. We all know the name Hannibal, the brilliant Carthaginian general who crossed the Alps with elephants and brought Rome to its knees. For a moment, it seemed the Republic might break, but Rome did not break. It endured, adapted, and ultimately, it triumphed. With Carthage destroyed, the Mediterranean became Mare Nostrum, our sea. The legions marched on. They conquered Greece, the cradle of philosophy and democracy, absorbing its culture and art. They pushed into Gaul, a vast territory masterfully subdued by a brilliant, ambitious general named Gaius Julius Caesar. His conquest of Gaul, detailed in his own commentaries, made him a hero to the people and a threat to the Senate. The Republic, strained by its own size and the immense wealth and power of generals like Caesar, began to crack. The inevitable clash came. Caesar crossed the Rubicon River, a symbolic act of defiance, plunging the Republic into civil war. "The die is cast," he famously declared. He emerged victorious, declared dictator for life, but his ambition was cut short by the daggers of assassins on the Ides of March. His death didn't save the Republic. It only unleashed another round of brutal civil wars. From the chaos, one man would rise above all others: Caesar's adopted son, Octavian. After defeating his rivals, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, at the Battle of Actium, Octavian returned to Rome not as a conqueror, but as a restorer of peace. He skillfully navigated the political landscape, maintaining the illusion of the Republic while gathering all real power for himself. The Senate bestowed upon him the title Augustus, the revered one. The Roman Republic was dead. The Roman Empire was born. The reign of Augustus ushered in the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The empire was at its zenith. Roads, aqueducts, and cities sprung up across 3 continents. Roman law and language spread, creating a unified culture. From the Colosseum in Rome, where gladiators fought for their lives, to the distant outpost of Hadrian's Wall in Britain, the power of the Eagle Standard was absolute. Emperors like Trajan expanded the empire to its greatest extent, while Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, defended its borders and contemplated the nature of duty. But no golden age lasts forever. The 3rd century saw the empire lurch from one crisis to another. Civil wars, economic collapse, and constant pressure on its vast frontiers from so-called barbarian tribes began to take their toll. The empire became too large to govern effectively from a single capital. It was a giant, stumbling under its own weight. Emperors rose and fell with terrifying speed, often murdered by their own troops. Salvation, or at least a temporary reprieve, came in the form of strong emperors like Diocletian, who took the radical step of dividing the empire into an eastern and a western half, each ruled by its own emperor, to make it more manageable. But the most significant change was yet to come. A general named Constantine the Great, fighting for control of the empire, saw a vision in the sky before a pivotal battle, a cross of light. After his victory, Constantine embraced Christianity. In 313 AD, his Edict of Milan granted tolerance to this once persecuted faith, and it soon became the dominant religion of the empire. This was a monumental shift that would reshape the soul of Rome and the future of the entire Western world. Constantine also made another fateful decision. He moved the capital of the empire from Rome to a new city in the east, an ancient Greek port called Byzantium. He rebuilt it in magnificent style and named it after himself, Constantinople. Constantine's reign marks the end of our 1,000-year journey. From Romulus's mythical founding to Constantine's Christian empire, Rome had transformed itself and the world. While the Western Empire would eventually crumble in the 5th century, its legacy in the East, in Constantinople, would endure for another 1,000 years. The story of Rome is more than just a history of conquest. It's the story of law, language, architecture, engineering, and ideas that still echo in our world today. They laid the foundations of our own civilization. Thank you so much for joining me on this epic journey through 1,000 years of Roman history. If you enjoyed this and want to explore more incredible stories from the past, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.